The night she was bitten, the woods were quiet in that wrong, breath-held way, as if the trees themselves were waiting for something to go wrong. Mara had only cut through the forest because her car died 2 miles from the highway. 26, stubborn, and used to men underestimating her. She figured she could handle a walk. She danced at the Velvet Antler for 3 years, long enough to know how to read danger in a man's eyes. But the woods had no eyes, no tails, no warning. Just the snap of a branch, then the growl, then the weight of something massive slamming her into the dirt. She remembered the teeth most of all, not the pain, but the heat from them, like metal pulled from a forge. The creature's breath smelled of wet leaves and old blood. She fought, she kicked, screamed, and then nothing. A blur of fur and moonlight. A howl that didn't sound like victory so much as a curse being passed on. She woke at dawn, clothes shredded, shoulder torn open, the wound already knitting itself together in a way that made her stomach twist. She told no one. Not the cops, not the hospital, not her boyfriend, Evan, the quiet, soft-spoken guy she had been seeing for 2 months. The one who brought her coffee after late shifts and never once treated her like she was something to be consumed. She didn't tell him because she didn't understand it herself. But she understood the first full moon. She remembered everything. The bones cracking like knuckles, the skin splitting like wet paper, the painful agony of her muscles and tendons stretching, the hunger, ancient, furious, and cold. She remembered the way the world sharpened into a scent and sound, and she remembered the men outside the club, the ones who grabbed at her, insulted her, followed her to her car. She remembered how easy it was to stop them, how good it felt. The next night, Mara had a few drinks and went back to work. She had her respectable regulars, but too many were nothing more than drunks who became bored of their wives and girlfriends. And then the pigs who looked at women as less than, or had boundary issues. She bent over closely and pushed her breasts together for the slob sitting next to the stage. She picked up the $5 bill from the floor as he hurled degrading insults at her.
I bet your daddy's proud.
She knew who her next victim would be. The next full moon, she found that wordsmith of insults walking to his car after too much to drink. She had already made her transition and lunged at him before he could open his car door. She ripped him open and drug his body into the woods, feeding on his intoxicated carcass. For a while, she convinced herself she can control it. She only worked nights when the moon was dark and thin. She told herself she was doing the world a favor, feeding on the cruel, the drunk, the ones who treated her like a thing instead of a person. But the curse didn't care about her rules. By the 3rd month, she woke with blood under her nails she didn't recognize, a wedding ring in her pocket, a shoe too small to belong to any man. She vomited until her ribs hurt. The next night, she quit the club. The quitting didn't matter. The moon didn't care about employment status. She tried chains. She tried locking herself in her apartment. She tried running miles into the woods and burying herself under leaves. Nothing held her. Nothing stopped her. Nothing silenced the hunger. The night everything broke was supposed to be simple. She had warned Evan she wasn't working. She told him she needed space. She told him she wasn't feeling well. He showed up anyway, not to check on her, but to surprise her with dinner after her shift. He didn't know she wasn't there. He didn't know she was already changing in the alley behind the club, bones twisting, vision tunneling, the moon pulling at her like a hook in her spine. He didn't know the wolf would smell him first. He didn't know she loved him. He didn't know she was coming for him. When she woke, she was curled beside his body like a dog beside its owner. Her hair matted and her face covered with his blood. His throat was torn open. His eyes were still soft, still trusting, even in death. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just whispered,
"I'm sorry."
over and over until the sun rose and the birds began to sing. Then she buried him with her hands, dirt under her nails, blood drying on her skin. She didn't call anyone. She didn't leave a note. She didn't want the world to know what she'd done. She only wanted to disappear. She moved deep into the woods, miles from the nearest road, farther still from the nearest town. She built a cabin from scrap lumber in silence. She lived off rainwater and canned food. She spoke to no one. The moon still came, the wolf still came, but there were no men to hurt, no crowds, no neon lights, no music, no Evan. Just the trees, just the hunger, just the guilt. And for a while that was enough. Until one night, months later, she heard a sound outside her cabin, a soft, familiar knock. 3 taps, a pause, 2 more. Evan's knock. She froze. The wolf inside her froze. The knock came again. 3 taps, a pause, 2 more. She opened the door. There was no one there. Just the wind, just the moon, just the faintest scent of coffee and cologne. Evan's cologne, drifting through the trees like a memory that refused to die. She stepped outside, heart pounding, breath shaking.
"Evan?"
She whispered. The woods answered with silence, but the scent remained. And for the first time since she buried him, she felt something worse than guilt. She felt hope. A cruel, impossible hope. A hope that tasted like blood. A hope that would disappear on the very next full moon.